recording, we're working on doing the deeds for any other properties. So what we're going to be looking for is we're going to look at Anthony Paul Fritz's. You can see in here he has all of his LLC documents, and this is for all of his old deeds. So we'll go ahead and open up the first deed file and take a look at what this deed is. Go ahead and see a couple of things here. You can see that it's the warranty deed. We see when the date of the deed is, that it was originally from a limited liability company, which is the grantor. That's the person that actually owned the property, and then the grantee is going to be the person who receives the property. In this case, it's to the grantee is the 1007 Florida Avenue LLC, and this is their address. The important part about the grantee is because now we have a new deed, right? So the grantee in this old deed is the current property holder. So now we're going to be moving from the current property holder to our entity that we set up for the client, which is going to be the title holding trust for our business. So a couple of things that we will want to look at here. The first thing we're going to do is go into our stock documents folder, and we're going to go ahead and pull up a stock deed here. And we actually have a stock deed for Florida. Otherwise, what we'd have to do is to go ahead and pull up another one so we can say, yep, this is our Florida deed stock document. If we didn't have that for any reason, we would need to go find one or to modify one to research the rules to be able to pull a new deed for Florida. Important thing about deeds is that each county and each state is going to have different rules for their deeds. So what we want to do is look at the previous deed and look at what are all the requirements it looks like this county is going to have. So one of the things we look at our stock deed for Florida, we notice that we have our title, our heading up here, and then we have our preparer statement here that Florida is going to require you to have to say who prepared the document. This piece right here is going to be the grantor. And in this case, that we know that the grantor is going to be, for our deed, is going to be the grantee for this one. So we know that the grantee is going to be the 1007 Florida Avenue LLC. And that's also a Florida limited liability company. And then this is the address of that company. Right now, I'm not entirely sure whether that's going to be required because I haven't checked with the county clerk. But if they put it in this other deed, it's probably likely that it is going to be required. So I'll just go ahead and put that in there for right now. So here's, we know this is our grantee clause. And so we come to look in here, and we look at this next plan. It says this is the grantor. It says this is the amount that he purchased it for, and we know that it's in Osceola County. So we can come back over here and we can say change this to Osceola. And we're also in the state of Florida here. So if this was in Texas or North Carolina or some other state, that would actually have to change. But let's go ahead and then we can look back here. We look at this lot. This is called the lot and block in the industry. And that's actually where we find our legal description. So we'll go ahead and put this in all caps and keep it in bold. So we'll go ahead and copy that information from this old deed into the new deed. And it's important that it's exactly the same between one or the other. So you'll notice one thing that I did that I changed up is this is the Seminole land, and I wrote and instead of using this symbol, the ampersand symbol. I'm going to go ahead and change that because I want it to be exact. It's important that it's exact. So we have that there. We also we can look in here, and what I'm looking for now is to try to see if they have the address of the actual property in here. And it doesn't look like they have it in here. When I'm looking through this, I don't see anything that says that it has a particular property address. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to name this as for the purposes of the trust, because typically these trust documents, whatever trust we're going to use, and we're going to use the address of the property, but here we don't know what the address of the property is going to be. So we're just going to do this as the 1007 property trust. I also, looking at this, I see that the property appraiser parcel ID has been put in here. I'm not sure whether it's going to require that or not. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and put it up here at the top. If you see that in there, some counties will require you to have it and some won't. I like to go ahead and put it in there just because what I want is to be able to, if you have extra information in there, it's not going to hurt anything. The one thing but what could happen is that sometimes it's hard to tell exactly what rules the county has from looking at their website. And so if I see something in there on an old deed, a lot of times I'll just go ahead and include it on the new deed until I can take a look at the website. And then if I see something on the website that says, hey, this is more information I need that's not included on here, I'll go ahead and include that. But even stuff that it doesn't say I necessarily have to include, I'll go ahead and include that on there. So just to go over it, we have here we have a property appraiser. Now, we check that it's going to be state of Florida, which is where this property is located. It's going to be in Florida. And we know it's in Florida because it's Osceola County here is where it was recorded, which is in Florida. We also know that, so that's going to be congruent here for Osceola County. Here we have our preparer statement. That's right here. And you can see over here they also have a preparer statement from Stewart Title. And this is our appraiser information that's equal here, or congruent here. We have here, this is the grantor in our case, which is the current property holder. And we know that's the same, which is the grantee in the old deed. Because the grantee is the person who's receiving the property. So here the grantee, this 1007 Florida Avenue LLC, received the property from the Rainbow Manor St. Cloud LLC, and now we're conveying the property as a new grantor from 1007 Florida Avenue LLC to the new grantee, which is the 1007 Property Trust, which is a trust that we opened up here in Texas. And we also, so we looked at, so that looks good from the grantor. And we can see our grantee here as we changed our property trust information. And we also know that we're changing this information.